Listening section, Section 1. The decline of Angkor Wat. A. Angkor is epicenter of one of the greatest finishing age of all times. The ancient Khmer kingdom in modern Cambodia lasts from the 9th to 5th century, and at its height dominate a huge area of Southeast Asia from today's Myanmar in the west to Vietnam in the east. As many as 750,000 people live in Angkor or Capital City, making it the most extensive urban complex of the pre-industrial era by the late 16th century. When Portuguese missionaries came across the lotus-shaped tower of Angkor Wat, or world's target religious monument, the empire was in its final phase. B. Exactly what caused the decline is unknown. Invaders, a change of religion, a shift to maritime trade that the grid and an inland city are all guesswork. The people of Angkor never spoke a single word explaining their kingdom's collapse. Recent excavations are suggesting a new answer. Angkor was domed by the very ingenuity that originally gave rise to it. Control of water slipped away. C. To ensure a steady water supply, stabilize rice production, and control flooding, Khmer engineers had built a full network of canals, moats, reservoirs, and ponds. Massive infrastructure slow and the west section deluge flowing from the Kulen Hills, moving it into canals that feed the braes or artificial bodies of water. Spreading across the gently sloping land, the water gets finally drained into the Thon Sap or the largest wastewater lake in Southeast Asia. The system ensured a water supply that did not rely on the monsoon. But this reliability required massive scales of engineering, including a reservoir called the Westbury, which is 8 kilometers long and almost 3 wide. To build this most sophisticated of Angkor's large reservoirs 1,000 years ago, as many as 2 million Khmer wards were needed to stock nearly 16 million cubic yards of soil in embankments 300 feet wide and 3 stories tall. Till today, the rectangular reservoir is fed by water diverted from the Sim River. D. Today's research have been amazed by the ability of Angkor's early engineers. The entire landscape is artificial, says people. Over several centuries and hundreds of miles of canal that reflect on subtle differences in the land's natural inclination were constructed to divert water from 3 different rivers to the bayers. During the summer monsoon, overflow channels block off excess water, and after the rains petered out in October or November, irrigation channels dispense the salt water. The bayers help renew soil moisture by allowing water to soak into the earth. In neighborhood fields, surface evaporation will have drawn up the groundwater to supply crops. E. The clever water system may have made all the difference between mediocrity and greatness. Most of the kingdom's rice was grown in fields and with embankments that would otherwise have relied on monsoons or the seasonal flow of water on the floodplain. Irrigation may have boost harvest. The system could also have helped in providing rations during a poor monsoon season. The ability to divert and hold water flow have afforded a measure of protection from floods. Anchor's waterworks would have been an extremely valuable asset for the struggling Southeast Asia kingdoms. F. There is strong evidence that says the system was destroyed by Anchor's own engineers. One of the huge spillways was destroyed that was used to remove excess water. However, why this was done is a mystery. The ruins are a vital clue to an epic struggle as Khmer engineers coped with an even more complex and unruly water system. Logically, the dam failed. The river could have chewed into the dam, weakening it gradually. Perhaps it was washed away by heavy floods. The Khmer then repaired a part more of their stonework, salvaging the blocks for the other things. Section 2. The need for brush fires. The plant communities that grow on the arid sandy soils of the southwestern Australia depend on fire for their survival. The land here is nutrient-deficient and is summer so baked by the sun that a forest of tall trees cannot grow. In test, there is a low brush mixed with a scatter of trees, few of which are above 20 feet high. It is a wonderland with flowers of great beauty to Branston, very few of which have been seen growing in Wales before. For this one corner of the continent contains no less than 12,000 different varieties of plant species, and 87% of them grow nowhere else in the world. This individuality system from the fact that 50 million years ago, Australia was partly covered by a shallow sea that spared the western continent from the rest. As Australia gradually warmed, the sea dried up, but it left behind a wide chunk of sand, so that the western corner is cut off by desert and its ancient isolation is still visible. Fire has regularly destroyed this land throughout its recent geological history. The plants have evolved with it, so now they are able to survive that construction and use it their own advantage. These eucalyptus or gum trees that grow there often take the particular from cold malt species that elsewhere become normal-looking trees, growing here in such a particular way that they are thought to be completely different breed. Instead of a single trunk that only has branches, they have a misty rooster from which rise half a dozen thin trunks of similar height. It looks as if they've been cut or trimmed to size. When fire swept through melt, the slender trunks are totally burned and destroyed, but the rootstock bear a ring of strong bands from the which new seeds rapidly sprout. They grow more quickly than the old, partly because the ground has been fertilized by the ash of other plants recently, and partly because there are few survivors having well-established root systems complementing for those nutrients. The bottle browse led to apical produce exceptional clusters of bright red flowers at the end of systems. However, the core of this trunk is not timber, but fiber, and what looks like a bank is in fact the component base of the leaves, which are semi-annually. A copious flow of gum keeps the base glued together and creates that insulation. Since the plant sees one ring of leaves in a year, counting dailies, the rings gives proof it is each. So the next section is question section. Number 1. What is unusual about the land in SY Australia? A. Cut off from the rest of the continent. B. Nutrient deficient soil. C. Many endangered plants. D. Unchanged soil for many years. Number 2. What is the importance of fire to SW Australia? A. It's an annual problem. B. It caused permanent damage to soil few years ago. C. Vegetation depends on it. D. It keeps the land isolated. Number 3. Mel is a type of a tree with multiple branches rising from the ground. B. A tree with strong base above ground. C. Part of a tree under the surface. D. Burnt remains of a tree. Number 4. How does fire affect the battlebrush tree? A. Only grow in as left after a fire incident. B. But life likes the burn plant. C. Fire prevents birds by keeping them away. D. Fire helps the tree in releasing its seeds. Number 5. How fire affects Bankia's growth? A. Fire carries seeds to less vertical areas. B. The ash from the fire destroys oxygen in the ground. C. Had instantly feed forces the seeds cast to open. D. Fire destroys other plants.